I know it's hard to believe, but that memory that you might have of Rings of Power being cancelled, it's not real. It's like some kind of Mandela effect. I've said it before. The truth is, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power by Amazon Prime is very much still a thing. Even though you probably forgot about it. It's shocking. Season 3 of the show is due out in November of this year. A new trailer was released, and we're going to talk about it a little bit. Now, speaking of how is this show still a thing... What a segue into shilling merch, eh? I've brought back the How Is This a Thing mugs store. So I've set up a new merch store over on Fourth Wall, and it features the channel artwork from Computing Forever and The Dave Cullen Show. You've got 11 different designs to choose from, and you'll recognize these designs from the channels, of course. So follow the link in the description box and head on over there and grab yourself one of these mugs. I'm sure you'll find one that you like, and of course it helps to support the channel. So this season of The Rings of Power is going to cover the forging of the One Ring by Sauron. Now, it appears from this trailer that they may have let go of that extremely creepy, weird, and canonically divergent romantic undercurrent between Sauron and Galadriel. At least there's no evidence that it's still a thing in this trailer. I'm convinced that their romance was a product of the age of moral relativism. You know, the grey area bad guy, where antagonists they're just misunderstood. And no one is just plain evil. I find a lot of modern Hollywood writers, they seem to have an issue with that black and white, good versus evil dynamic. And they don't like depictions of absolute evil, because they think they're too simplistic, and that no one can just be an out-and-out sadistic person. They can't just be malevolent for malevolence sake. Everyone is the hero of their own story, right? The bad guy he's just a bit misled or misunderstood. To be fair, this is an issue also in something like Spider-Man Brand New Day, and as people have pointed out, also in the WandaVision TV series, when it came to Wanda herself. I think on balance, most of Brand New Day was excellent, except for Jean Grey's resolution, as I've mentioned in my video, but that's another discussion. So it looks like Galadriel has a new love interest in the form of the character of Celeborn, but I think the most ridiculous aspect of this new season is going to be, brace yourself for this, the inclusion of an orc sidekick. Okay, an orc character is joining the cast. And I'm not joking. It's unreal. This character accompanies them on their quest in season 3. And he works alongside Galadriel and Arondir. Now, last season, there was a sweet little orc family. Remember? Orcs they're just misunderstood. They're not monsters. They were just being exploited. They really just want to have their own families and live in peace like anyone else. Oh my God. It's like the writers of this show go out of their way to mess with established lore and subvert expectations. So now I guess orcs can just be friends with humans and elves. Yeah, no problem. Despite the fact that orcs actually eat the flesh of elves and humans, but hey, this show is a modern, sophisticated take on Tolkien's work. You Tolkien purists are too rigid and short-sighted in your understanding of the lore. I mean, you need to let go of such limited, outdated, inflexible interpretations of canon. It's time for a more nuanced take. Yeah, disaster. Unbelievable. To be fair, I would say something like, hardcore Tolkien fans will never accept this, but it should go without saying that hardcore Tolkien fans have tuned out of this show long ago, probably at some point during season 1. The rest of the trailer just looks really dark, to be honest. I mean, the colors seem really muted, washed out, lacking any kind of vibrancy or saturation. Now, this is an issue with a lot of modern films and TV shows. especially big budget ones, and especially ones that have a lot of CGI, that look very green screeny in places. Now, to be fair, this show does have quite a lot of location shooting as well. But this look, it has to be a stylistic choice. But why would any director want their show to look like this? Aesthetically, it's really ugly. And why has this become the norm in Hollywood? You know, how a production looks has an impact upon how we feel about it. Story, character, theme, meaning, all that's very important, but a film needs a visual language of its own. And a TV show as well. So many shows and films look like this now. Drab, dreary, dystopian, and really poorly lit. This was a complaint in the Odyssey as well. People had the same issue with the Odyssey for this reason. Why didn't the Mediterranean scenes look like, the Mediterranean? Where's the color? Everything is just horribly dull and blue-grey. But anyway, when it comes to Lord of the Rings of Power, Amazon has spent a fortune on this show. It is the biggest budget TV series ever made. And the ratings just fell off a cliff after season 1. I want to take a look at this Den of Geek article from January 2025. The Rings of Power season 2 viewership data isn't great news for the show's 5-season plan. The Rings of Power season 2 saw a steep drop in terms of total minutes watched, according to a new report. It's not a great look for one of the most expensive TV series ever made. The Rings of Power Season 2, which saw a 60% drop in total minutes watched when compared to Season 1, which itself reportedly struggled to retain viewers all the way through to its finale in 2022. While it's true that Season 2 was always going to struggle to reach the meteoric numbers of Season 1's early episodes, when anticipation and interest was at its highest for the blockbuster series, this is still a concerning downturn for an Amazon show, which is also incredibly expensive to make and that has struggled to win over Lord of the Rings fans at large, indeed. But I don't think it matters to Amazon, really. I've always felt that this was sort of an Amazon vanity project in many respects. And let's be honest, Amazon, as in the e-commerce retail store, is helping to fund Amazon Prime content like this. So the studio's pockets are incredibly deep, and they can just keep bankrolling the show for a few more seasons, even if it is a loss leader. And when it's over, when the Rings of Power finally ends after its 5-season run, who will ever return to this show? There's TV shows that you could watch over and over, that you could binge watch and return to many years later. At the moment, I don't know anyone who actually watches this show. I don't know anyone who thinks of this show as appointment viewing. I don't know anyone who's pumped for season 3 of The Rings of Power. I presume this show has a loyal fan base, but it failed miserably to be a Game of Thrones rival, and it's failed as a canonical continuation of Middle-earth lore. And when it's all over, who is going to remember it? Who will voluntarily rewatch something like this? Who's going to want to have this on Blu-ray and return to it over and over? It's a genuine question. All that money, and it's likely going to be forgotten with no cultural footprint or legacy left behind, despite being the most expensive TV series in history. Actually, yeah, that's going to be its legacy, isn't it? The most expensive TV series in history with barely any rewatch value for most people. And it'll be something that people move on from very, very quickly afterwards. Very few people will think fondly of it. And most people who do think of it will think of it in very, very negative terms as something that is incredibly divorced from Tolkien's work and a profoundly awful, mediocre show. Yeah, that's Rings of Power, and the 3rd season is on the way. I know you just can't wait, guys. I know you can't wait. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.